Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome to the second episode of Django Mastery series, where we are going to explore how you can create your first Django application. In this episode, we are going to see what are views, URLs, and templates and how they work together to create a web page and a website using Django. Now we have already done the installation process of Django and we have created our first project in the first video of this series, and in the left hand side you can see the project which is already created, Django Mastery, and this is the basic structure of a Django project. We have not written any code. That's what we are going to do in this particular video. You can also find the link of the first video in the description. You can go and watch that video to do this basic setup, and then you can continue from here. Now let us continue in this particular episode and let us see how can we create our first Django app. Let us see about views, URLs and templates, and let us try to render an HTML page in our website using Django's template engine. First of all, what we need to do is we need to create our first Django app. Now I am going to tell you what is an app in Django. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to open a terminal, and I am using a VS Code. So I will just use this particular terminal provided by VS Code. In the left hand side, this is our project. Let me activate the virtual environment which we have created for this project. For that, I can say source venv pin activate. This is the virtual environment and it is now activated. Next is we need to create our Django app, right? So to create our Django app, we need to say python manage.py start app, then app name. Now, first of all, you need to understand how is this command working. Right now, I am in this particular folder. My terminal is pointing to the Django mastery folder and it has a file manage.py. This manage.py is going to help me to create the application in Django. And now if you will notice, what I'm doing is I'm just running the manage.py file with python manage.py file command by using the python command. So basically this is the python command. Then this is the file name which I want to run, which is manage.py. And then there is a command line argument. First argument is start app. This start app means that I want to create a new application in Django. And what is my application name? This is home. Now I can give any name. I can say ABC, anything, right? But right now we will name our application as home. Hit enter, wait for some time, and then you will see there is a new folder which is created, that is home. Now this home is your application in Django. When you will open this particular folder, you will find few files like admin, apps, models, tests, views. Now we don't need to worry about all these files for now. We will just focus on one file which is views.py for now. But before that, you need to understand what is an application. See, the thing is, when we create a website, it has a lot of functionalities, right? It has a home page, it has a login functionality, it has orders, it has shopping, it has carts, it has invoices, it has a lot of things. Now in this Django web framework, you have a feature using which you can separate out all these features. Now this is going to make your code really readable, scalable, and the code will be manageable as well. You can manage different functionalities in different apps. So let's say for home page, whatever I want in my home page in my website, I am going to write all the logic for this in my home application of Django. So for that, I have created this home folder, which is actually an application for Django. Now, once I created this particular folder or application, what I need to do is I need to register this particular app in my website, or basically I can say in my Django project. Now, if you remember in the first video, I have told you that this my site, this particular folder is my project configuration folder. If I want to do anything, any kind of configuration in my project, I will do it inside this folder. And there is a file settings.py. So open this particular file, and in this file, when you will go down, you will find this installed apps. Now this installed apps is a list, and inside this list, you need to pass all the application which you want your Django project to know about. You can see there are already some application which are Django specific application. You don't need to worry about it. What you need to do is you need to just add this home in this particular list. So just add this home in the list. And what we are doing right now is we are saying that, hey Django Mastery project, I have configured the home application in your installed apps. Now you should recognize this app. You should know about this app. So now Django will say, okay, now I know about this app. I will try to find a folder with the name home in the project folder. This is the project folder, Django Mastery. Inside the Django Mastery, the home folder is the application which Django will look for. This is what this registry means. So I have registered this particular app in my Django project. Now we can just start writing our code, whatever we want from our website. Now what you need to do is go to this home and go to views. And remember what I told you guys, that we are going to understand about views, URLs and templates. So let us first see about views. What are views? Basically views are where you define what to show. That's basically the business logic of your particular application or your particular web page. Now I have already told you that Django follows MVT architecture, model, views and template. So basically model is where you define your database. views are where you define your business logic, and templates are where you define your front end layer, that is the presentation layer. So that's what this MVT means, model view template. Generally we know about MVC architecture, model view and controller. In Django we have MVT architecture, model for database, views for business logic, and template for your presentation layer. For now let's just focus on the business logic. So let's go to this views.py. In the views.py, when you will go, you will find this particular code which is already written. Don't worry about it. What you need to do now is, let us start from the very basic. In a web page, what happens? There is an HTTP request made by the user, and we need to give an HTTP response, right? This is the protocol which is used to make a request, and this is the protocol we will use to give the response to our user. So let us write some code for it. And first of all, we are going to understand about function based views, that is views or business logic which is made using functions. So let us create a function. In function in Python, how can you create a function? You can say def home. This is my function name. Inside this we can pass some arguments, and I am going to tell you what is the argument which needs to be there, and then we need to return something, right? Now this is the basic structure of a function based views in Django, but there is one more thing which you need to have, which is one argument request. Now you can name this anything, but request is a suitable name, because what happens is whenever a request comes, whenever an HTTP request comes into our server from any client, we receive it as an HTTP request, right? And this is the variable which is going to receive the request, and then we need to return a response. What we receive is an HTTP request. What we need to give or what we need to respond is HTTP response. In Django, you can return an HTTP response from the HTTP response class. So you need to import it. You can type from django.http import HTTP response. Now what we need to do is we need to say, okay, let's give an HTTP response. So you need to return HTTP response, and inside this you can pass your message. So we can say welcome to the home page, right? Now this is the minimal thing you can do in a function based views in Django. We have just created a function based view, and I am going to tell you exactly how it works. First of all, let's complete everything from the code part, and then we will understand how everything is working in depth. The next thing is you need to understand, you need to know that how a particular client makes a request to a server. What it does is it goes to a particular website or a particular IP address and makes a request, right? So let us define the URLs. Let us define the URL routing for our own website. For that, first of all, you can go to this particular folder, my site, which is the project configuration folder. In this my site folder, you have this URLs, right? Open this particular file, and if you are opening it for the first time, you will have all these comments over here. You can just remove these comments and just focus on the code. Now this is the code which is already present. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what's already present. Let us right now focus on creating our home page. Now generally what happens is when we have the home page, let us say this is our website, http://localhost:8000. Now let us say this is our website, this is our particular server. Now as a user, what you can say is, you can say if I go to this particular page, I should see the home page. Or you can say if I just say /home, then I should see the home page, or maybe /main, then I should see the home page. That's something which you will define. So for now, let's give a response of the home page for this empty path. This is the complete path we have. When a user goes to this particular path, we will give the response, right? For that, you need to create a path. So what we will do is in this URL patterns variable, which is a list, you are going to add a value, and let's add a value as path. Now this path is coming from here. From django.urls, you have imported path, which is already there. So you can just write another path for our website. We can say for an empty path, I want something to happen, right? I want to return the response which this views.py home function is giving. I want to return this particular response when somebody is coming to this website without any path. When there is an empty path and somebody is coming to my website, I will return this particular response. For that, you will define this path. The first argument is what is the actual path. If you want it for empty path, you can just make it empty. And the second argument is what you want to execute when somebody is going to this particular path in your website. I want to say, I want this particular function to work. For that, you need to write a code, include, and in this you need to pass home.urls. Now, right now you might be confused. What is this code? How it is working? And it is fine. I'm going to explain you everything. But first of all, you just need to write this code. And this include is actually a function. And you need to import this function from django.urls. You can say from django.urls import path, comma, include. Now that's it. You can just comment it out, or maybe you can get rid of this. Now what you need to do is in your home folder, which is the application which you have created, create a file. Right click and create a file, urls.py. In this particular file, first of all import from django.urls import path. then you need to create a variable URL patterns, and this will be equal to a list. Again, don't worry about how it is working, just focus on what's happening right now, and then we will cover everything how it is actually working. What you need to do is you need to say from dot import views. What is this doing? This is actually importing everything from the views in your urls.py file. This is the file you created, and this dot is telling Python that import something from the same folder in which I am. So this URL is in the same folder in which views is. So we will say from dot import views. So we have imported this views, and now what we can say is create a path which is going to be executed for empty path. And when somebody is going to this particular path, what I will do is I will say views.home. It means that if somebody is visiting this particular path, this views.home will be executed. Now this views is this particular views, which is actually this particular file views.py. Inside this we have a function home. We are actually telling Django that this is my path, the empty path, and this is the function which is going to be called the home function. And now I think you can run your server and you can see something in your web page. So let us do it. To run our server, we need to run a command, and we need to say python manage.py run server. Hit enter, wait for some time, and this is actually going to start your development server. So this is our development server URL. Copy this URL, go to a browser, and in the browser just paste the particular URL. Once you paste this URL, hit enter, and now you will see this message, welcome to the home page. Now let me quickly do one thing. Let's go back to our code editor and let's change our message. Let's change the message to welcome to the home page and type function based view. Now this is our new message. Once you have saved your code, you will see that the development server which was running is restarted. It means that we don't need to restart our server after we have done some change. It will restart automatically. Now if you will go to your web page again, and once you refresh the page, you will see that this is the new message. Now this is the proof that this particular message is actually coming from my home view. Now let us understand how is this happening. First of all, what's happening? I am making a request to this particular URL, right? So this is my URL where I am making a request. Let us go back to the code editor and let us try to understand how everything is happening. First of all, as a client, I am making a request to this particular URL, right? I have an empty path, right? So what's happening is, first of all, Django will go to this particular folder, my site, which is our project configuration folder. Then it will go to this URLs, and in the URLs, it will try to match this empty path with all the path which is available. We have two paths which is available in our website as of now. The first path is /admin. Now we have an empty path, right? This is our path, and the first path will not match to the empty path, right? This is not an empty path. It has the /admin here. So this will not match with our request. But the second path is going to match. That's because it is an empty path. So it will say, Django will say that, okay, whatever the user is requesting, I can serve that particular request. Now it will say, okay, what I need to execute? I need to execute this. Now this include, what is this doing? It is saying that this is the path which I have understood from the request. Now I am redirecting this particular request to home.urls. Now you need to understand it in depth. This is very important to understand. What's happening? We have an empty path. This particular path is catching. This particular path has understood that I can serve the request for this particular request coming from the user. It will say include home.urls. Now this home is the application which you have created, and urls is a file which has to be there in the home folder. So I'm saying home, this is my home, and I'm saying URLs, this is the URLs. So this particular request will be redirected to this particular application, home.urls. Now it is the responsibility of urls.py to match a particular path. Now this is an empty path. Empty path was consumed by this empty path. What's the remaining part? The remaining part is again an empty path. Now this might be confusing. I will explain you this with few examples. But for now, you need to understand that there is an empty path request. This particular request is redirected to home.urls. Now home.urls will see that, can I match the request coming to me? Okay, I can match it. I can match it to this particular path. And what I need to do, I need to execute this code. And this code is views.home. This is the particular code. And here the request will be accepted. Here the request will be there. This is the response I am giving. Now again, this might be confusing if you are understanding it for the first time, but it is fine. Let's try to play around with some values and you will understand this particular path in detail. Go to the my site urls.py and name this path. Instead of empty, make it ABC. Save this, and now once you come to your particular browser and refresh it, you will find that page not found. Now since this is a development server, it is also telling you what's the issue. The thing is, Django is just having, right now our website is just having two paths, /admin/ABC. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to go to a particular path which doesn't even exist. /empty is not there. Now if I say /ABC, I will receive my message. Because if you will go back to your code editor, you will see that right now I am having this particular path ABC, which is going to redirect my request to home.urls. In the home.urls, I have this path which is going to execute my code. Do one more thing. In your home.urls, you have this urls.py file. In the urls.py file, make the path as xyz instead of empty. Now again go back to your browser, refresh the page, and again you will see that what I'm having right now is I'm again getting this 404 page not found. What you can do is you can say slash xyz, hit enter, and again you can see the same error. That's because we have actually done a small mistake, and let's go back to the code editor and let's try to fix that. What we need to do is we need to say abc slash, save this in the mysite.urls, save this particular file, go back to your browser, and this time try to refresh the page and you will see your particular message again. Now we are getting our message in this particular URL and you need to understand how it is happening. Let's go back to the code editor and let's try to understand how is this particular path executing the code which we want. See what is happening when we are receiving this path, when we are receiving a request at this particular path, then you can just get rid of this part, which is our host. You can get rid of this. This is the actual path, right? Now Django will try to see which of this path can actually match for our request. Will admin match to this? No. But this abc slash, it matches with this particular part, abc slash. So what will happen? It will take out this abc slash and it will pass this xyz to the home.urls. What happened is it took some part from your URL which it matches, and then the remaining part of the URL is now passed to home.urls. In the home.urls we have this xyz, and this xyz is matching the complete path now, and now views.home will be executed. And if you are still confused, that's completely fine because this is just a start, right? We are going to do this a lot of time and then you will understand everything about it. So if you are not able to understand few parts of it, it's completely fine. Now let's proceed further. Let's try to do one more thing. Let's try to go ahead and let's try to do one more very important thing. Right now what we are doing is, as a response, we are giving a simple string message. But generally a web page involves HTML, right? So what we will do is, we will actually give an HTML response. So for that we need to create an HTML page, right? So we will actually create an HTML page and give an HTML response when somebody is trying to go to the home page. In your home folder, create a folder and name it as templates. This should be the name, templates, in your home folder. In the templates, create a file and name it as home.html. So now we have created an HTML file, and this HTML file is inside the templates folder in the home. Home is our application, Django app. In this particular file, let us just copy some HTML code, and this is a very basic HTML code, so you don't need to worry about this. It's a very basic HTML code with a title and a body and an h1 tag. Our goal is that when somebody is trying to go to the home page, I want to return this particular HTML, right? For that, what we need to do is, instead of returning an HTTP response, you can just comment it out. What we need to return is, we need to return the home page, right? So what we are going to do is, we are going to say return render. This render function is what we need to make use of, which is there in the Django.shortcuts. From Django.shortcuts, import render. In the render, first of all, you need to pass the request. The same request which you have received, that is something which we need to pass. And then we need to pass the HTML file. The HTML file is home.html. Save this, and now let's do one more thing. Let's get rid of this abc slash in our URLs, and in the urls.py of our home folder, we can get rid of this path. This was just for an example. What we want is, whenever somebody is going to our website without any path, I want this particular HTML code to execute. So now everything is set up. What we need to do right now is, we need to go to a browser, and once you are on a browser, you can just go to your home page, which is actually this particular URL. When you run the development server, you can find that URL in the logs. Hit enter, and now you will see that we are getting the response from the HTML code. Hello from Django template. Let's go back to the code editor and let's try to understand how is this happening. How are we able to render the HTML code? So for that, we need to go to the settings file to understand something. The settings file is there in the project configuration folder, my site. Open this particular file, and in this file, you will find that there is a particular templates. Now this templates is actually doing the thing. What this template is doing, this templates is actually helping us to render any kind of HTML in our Django web application. Now the thing is, this templates is something we will talk about a lot in the later videos. So you don't need to go in depth for now. You just need to understand that the magic is being done by this templates. Now let's do one thing. If you rename this templates folder to something else, you will see that our code is not working as expected. Let's rename to templates1, hit enter. Let's run the server again to go to a browser and execute your code. You will see that template does not exist error is there. And that's because Django specifically tried to find out its templates or its HTML code inside the templates folder. So you will have to write the name as templates. We will see how we can configure these things later on. But for now, these are the default things you need to understand. So you can go to your code editor and make the name as templates instead of anything else. So let's rename it again. And now let's understand how is everything happening. First of all, your request is being received, and then your path, this is your path. this particular path is matching this one. It says include home.urls. So now this is actually redirecting my request to the home.urls file. Go to the home URLs file, and inside this particular path is going to match our request, match our path, and it is saying that okay, execute the views.home. Go to views, and inside this you have this home function, which is a function based views, and in the function based views we are accepting, or we are actually getting the request, and in the return we are saying render home.html file. So this is how everything is happening. This is how you can see your output, your HTML file, this particular file. If you try to change something in the message, let's add it as MVT Django. Django is a MVT architecture. Django follows MVT architecture. Okay, this is our new message. Let us go to the browser and let us see, is the message updated? Let us try to go to the same URL, and now you will see that this is the updated message because our updated HTML code is now executed. And that's pretty cool, right? So let me explain you something what's happening. A browser request is coming, the request is being received, and then it is being checked that which particular URL is going to match our request. This is being done by the urls.py file in the my site, and based on this, whatever view needs to be executed, that particular view will be executed, and if there is a template, then that template will be returned as a HTML response to the browser. This is how it is happening, this is how it is working together, and in short you can say that URL handles your routing logic, at which particular code will be executed based on the particular path. View is going to handle what to show, that is in the views you can define you want to show this particular message, or you want to show this particular HTML page, or whatever, and the template is going to define how to show your data. So this is how it works. And I think that's it for this video, guys. We have created a Django application, we have seen how we can integrate it into our Django project, and we have seen function based views, and we have returned a simple string message, which was this one, as well as we have returned an HTML code as well. So I think that's enough of a learning for now. In the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to see Django templates with dynamic data and variables. So right now you see this is the HTML code, but this HTML code is static. It doesn't have a dynamic data. So that is going to be our next target in the next video, the third video of this particular series, where we are going to see how the Django template works with dynamic data and variables. So I hope you like this video. I hope you are liking this particular series. And if you are liking it, then make sure that you like the video as well, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this video, guys.